Hello and welcome to the Earth Science Associates video on the bidding forecast. This is a part of the GOMCube Analytics add-on and can be accessed through the GOMSmart website. This will be a tutorial video on the bidding forecast. So we're going to look at how to create the bidding forecast and then what the results look like and really how to interpret the results and what you can glean from our data. If you'd like a briefer overview or a much deeper dive into the modeling, we have videos for that as well, so check the link in the description below. So here I have the GOMSmart website opened and I'm on the home page. If I go over here to the Analytics tab, this is where we're going to find all of our analytics add-ons that can be accessed through GOMSmart. Then you'll see we have various add-ons, but we're going to take a look at the block bidding evaluation here. So the interface isn't too complicated. We give you a few parameters to enter, the first being the training period. We default starting from 2009 data, but if you don't like data and you think things have changed significantly since then, you can scroll up and select wherever you want to begin from. So say there, we're only going to use data from 2015 to train our model in that case. And then of course, which sale you actually want to get your forecast for. We default obviously to the current forecast, current sale. But if you'd like to take a look at any one of the previous past forecasts, we give you that option. That way you can compare how we're doing to the actual results. We let you enter the price of oil. Now, this is something that does play a role in bidding, and which blocks will be bid and how much bidding the bid amount will be. So we let you enter that because we don't know what will be during the sale. If you have a good idea, you can enter that. If you think you don't know, you can just enter the current price of oil. It's probably not going to be too far off. But during crazy times, it can vary quite a bit. The last thing here is the blocks expected to expire check mark. Is it on or off? We default it on. What this will do is, since we don't know for sure what blocks will be available, we have to make a guess based on the sale date. And so if you leave this checked on, we're going to actually take a look and see if blocks expire before that sale date. And if they do, we will include them in the forecast. Now, once it gets closer to the sale, the government puts out an official list. And so as soon as that happens, we go after that official list, regardless of whatever this check mark is. Now, this process takes a bit to run. We're training a lot of data, and we'll take a look at the output. We've got a bit of output for you. We don't want to make you wait for it. So this will just kick off a process on our servers, and we'll email you the results when we're done. It's just a zip file. But make sure from earthsci.com is not going to your spam folder, or check your spam folder there because it can easily get sent there. So once you download the zip file, this is what will be the contents here. You can see the folder name has some information on what sale you actually did. A lot of folders, a lot of files, so we'll go through them here, starting with the PDFs. So we have a bid report and an MROV report. The bid report, as the name implies, is going to have some information on the bidding. So we make two forecasts for bidding. One will be which blocks are likely to be bid, and then if they are bid, what will the bid amount be? Let me open that up here for you. Go back to the top. So the top has some general information, so you can know which trading period and which actual sale you're doing here. The formulas, if you're not too much into math, don't worry about them, but that's actually the formulas going on behind the scenes. These are the variables we're using for the bid amount. We call bid no bid. For the bid no bid, and then for the bid amount, these are the variables that we're using down here. And here's a map of the results. We give you the data, you can make a map yourself. But the red, see some red over here in orange. You see bid blocks we think are likely to receive bids, and then the blue are the blocks that are not likely to receive bids. And obviously the majority of blocks out there in the Gulf are not likely to receive bids. Additionally, you can see we're only making our forecast in the deep water. We didn't want to mix things up with the shallower waters. And additionally, most of the interesting actions happening in deep water, so we're not missing out on too much there. A look at our errors. So again, the deeper dive video goes into this more, but if you look at 2019, these last two graphs here, the red are the blocks that we think are very likely to be bid, and then it's coming up over 50%. So over half of the blocks we say are very likely to receive bids are receiving bids. Similar map for the bid amount. Again, red is high bid amounts, and the gray will be the low bid amounts. Distribution of the bid amounts. You can see we got some in the 1.5 to 3 million range there. And the tornado plots. These are really good, interesting ways to look at what variables are important. The first tornado plot here is for bid amount. And if you're seeing this first bar is for the high bid amounts and it's going right and it's very large, what it's saying is that past high bid amounts have a very positive influence on the current bid amounts. Because there are past high bid amounts in the area before, they're probably going to be high bid amounts in the area now. And if it's going left of 0 here, that's having negative influence. So this would be for total open blocks. And so what that means is there's lots of open blocks. It usually has less of high bids in that area. And that should make intuitive sense. But this is based off of training, whatever training period you select, and this is what our model was able to tease out of the data. So you can see that. And that's how we're basically coming up with our bid amount model. We do the same thing, but going down for all the individual companies. So every single individual company gets a forecast of where we think they will bid. And since they behave differently, that's why we need to make different forecasts for different companies. And this is again what our model has teased out based on the past bidding behavior. So putting all these companies together, that's how we get our overall bid model. That's how we make that map. Going back, let's take a look at the MRV report. Let me open that guy up. Same thing, general information at the top. These are the variables that are used in the model to explain some information here for you. This comes out of our random forest model, which is what we use for MRV, and it's basically telling you which variables we think are, or which variables the model has teased out are important. And so being previously rejected is a very high level here. And some of our, we have some interesting mnemonics and shorthand here, but we do also have a help page that explains what all these are if some of our shorthand is a little hard to read. Some maps, same deal here. So for MRV, we make 2 forecasts as well. The first one here is being the likelihood that a block will be the minimum MROV. Since so much of the blocks are the minimum MROV, we want to give you an idea if you can expect that. Blue, very likely to be minimum. Red, unlikely to be minimum. And then if it's not a minimum, what will the actual MROV be from the government? So it's the same similar map here. We have the gray being probably very low, close to the minimum, and then the red and oranges being very high. So we got some CSV files you can open up in Excel. We're going to open up this ESA block forecast. This is going to have the majority of the actual data here for it. So if you're looking to compare to what you think it is or anything like that, this might be a good CSV to open up. It looks something like this. Basically a giant list of all the blocks that are available anyways. And then just every single company, this is going to be the probability that we think Shell will bid on this particular block. It's very low. Most of the blocks are very low. There's only a few very special ones out there. And we give that for all of the companies. Other is any other company that's not listed here. It's all grouped up together. And then this will be a very important column. This is the overall probability of receiving a bid from that particular block. Again, most of them are pretty low, and that's to be expected since most blocks out there aren't that exciting looking. And then you can sort this and see which ones are best. Same thing, this is going to be for the bid amounts. Going down, this is in millions of dollars, of course, here. So we can see what we think there. And then we just do some types and rankings. So the lower is type E, means very low, likely to bid. And of course, ranking them like that. But this will be the, again, this is the heart and soul of the data. This is what we think, where we think blocks will be bid and what we think they'll be for. If you wanted a lot more data, you wanted some statistical data, variances and things like that, that's in this bid forecast stat data. If you wanted to make confidence intervals, or we have some pre-made for you, you can take a look at this file here. We won't do that right now. It's kind of complicated. If you know what you're doing, that might be a good file for you. Block attributes folder now is a good one. This is going to be, we've done a lot of work on just gathering the data is a big part of this, and this is going to have data on all that. So here's a nice help file here that'll teach you some of the acronyms and things we use if it's not clear. I'm going to open up this bid attributes, and norm means normalized. So that's right here. Same basic deal. We got all the blocks going down. And this is going to go through all of our variables. Again, the shorthand, if it's too hard, you can open up that help file there, and it'll explain what these are. But this is going to tell you that this block is about, the 17th, 17.8 percentile according to water depth. So there's some, so most blocks are deeper than AC001, but there's a few that are more shallow. About 16, 17% are more shallow. And that's what this is telling you. If the block is available, 1 yes, 0 no. Okay, this is like, is it a first time available? 0 no, 1 yes. This is the attribute for the platform distance, so it's telling you how far away it is from a platform. High bids, or the high bids in the area or not in the area, so you can see over here, this is actually on the higher half. That's why we normalize it to 1, because if you don't, it becomes pretty hard to actually tell what these numbers actually mean. So closer to 1 means it's on the high side, closer to 0 means it's on the low side. And so this is, if you wanted to just have some data, just see what values are where, and you could use this to make your own prediction if you wanted to, or just compare it to, you probably already have ideas of which blocks you're going to bid on, things like that. You might want to just find them in here and then take a look. Oh, okay, that's actually deeper water, comparatively than I thought, or oh, it is first time available. I didn't realize that, or anything like that. How many? Wow, that's actually got a lot of fields nearby, way more than most blocks do. And this is at 80th percentile, but some have basically no fields around it. Things like that. It's really just to give you additional information so you can make the best. You have to come up with which blocks you're going to bid on and how much you're going to bid for them. So that's, we want to give you the most information you possibly can have to do so. For all the individual companies, again, since we make forecasts for them, we need to gather data on particular individual companies, so we have that too. And also the attributes that we use for the MORV model are there as well. So going back to our folder here, go back. Some people asked and they wanted just the same data for the blocks that were not available. So we don't put that as part of our forecast, and we want to keep that kind of separate. But that data is in there if you wanted to see, what percentage, percentile it falls on the water depth or, field EUR, that's all in there, even if the block's not available. This .gdb file is a geodatabase file. This will be, we obviously made some maps so you can see them in our reports, but you might want to make your own maps and zoom in and all things like that. All the same data that's in this Excel spreadsheet, things like that are all in this geodatabase as well. And it's just meant for mapping, so you can create your own maps, make them look as pretty as you like, sort by colors, things like that. The layer files are some pre-made layer files that we've made going off that geodatabase, so you can just drag these into ArcMap, for instance, ArcGIS Pro. It'll plot them for you using pretty good symbology that we've already made. I like to, put like maybe the bid probability map up and then label them by the bid amount so I can have both information at the same time. That about covers all the big data and most important parts here. Again, if you like a deeper dive into more of how the actual model works and some of the statistics going on behind the scenes and a little more of the data, so it's a longer video, but we'll have a link for that. Otherwise, thank you for watching.